Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, March 22nd. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and NQ. So a very lazy, quiet day. It's our third smallest range of the year in ES, coming off of our fifth smallest range of the year yesterday. Our volume could possibly be in the top 10 lightest. We'll see after the after hours and SPY. The good news is not much damage done here at all. It's a 2-day balance we're in now. Okay? ES is a 2-day balance. It took an incredible effort to just get the overnight low and the gap fill in ES. NQ didn't even get the gap fill or the overnight low. Amazing how they didn't get it. They end up getting the overnight high, the IB high, and had 3 sets of single prints with lower value, but we took them all back. We took out both sides of the IB again. That's 45.6% of the time this year, which is an amazing number. We failed at a trend day up for like a nanosecond, so only 29.3% of those have held. We had lower value for the first time all week. The rest of the week, we had one unchanged. The rest were either higher, 2 were higher, 1 was overlapping higher. Righty, also a 2-day balance. They go out there with a trend day down. They did price probe to the downside. And they have a 10-wide point of control and an afternoon rally high, along with their trend day and a nice sell tail. But it's a 2-day balance. SPY and ES goes out 10 wide. SPY only goes out 9 wide. And NQ goes out with the afternoon pullback low at only 7 wide. Good day today. We saw the market really well. I was patient in the trade in here on a short. Ended up taking 7 points out of it. But if I had any patience, could have and should have taken out a lot more. So in A period, in NQ, I was short in A period against a lot of different things. Against the opening, against the 144 simple moving average, and against the gap. NQ gapped lower. Okay? ES did not. So they actually had a True Island top until B period. So A period worked out. Then in B period, when NQ filled the gap, I took a short saying, I don't think they're going to get go trend up. They didn't. They rolled over. That was nice. ES the last couple of days, there's been no movement early on. So those are 2 nice shorts in NQ. C period. Also short NQ against the opening and value high at the time. D period, same thing. So I did very well in A, B, C, and D and NQ, shorting it. Now, I was a little hesitant to continue shorting because we didn't get that overnight low yet. Or the IB low. ES got both of those in C. So I was a little hesitant after A, B, C, and D to start doing that. And like at some point, they might reverse this thing and take out the IB high and go for the overnight high in ES, even with the lower value. Then in G period, I did long ES once they filled the gap. And we had a poor low at the time. That worked out against the poor low. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. I shorted ES first to get the poor low and the gap. That worked. And then I went long in ES to go back to POC. So that was a nice trade in ES on the short and the long. I did also take a short in NQ against the overnight POC once we did make a new high, but we didn't. I took it off. I ended up breaking even. I made on 5 points on one, lost 5 points on another. Wasn't loving it, especially since the overnight high was still up for grabs. So I took it off for break even on that. Then a trade I was in. Well, first I took a long in NQ and H to get the overnight high. That worked. And then in ES, I shorted H at 5,300 and then I shorted at 53.05, shorted a 1 lot at 5,300, a 3 lot in I period at 53.05. Came in, took some of those off, went back up, put more on at 450. So I was adding and taking off as we were going back and forth. I was still out on the 5,300 kind. It came in. I took it off at K's low, made 2 ticks on that. I made like 7 points on the trade overall. Nothing great, but not bad for the range we had. And then they decided to wipe out these weak longs. And the only other trade I did after that was an L period when it pulled back in NQ. I thought it was a decent risk reward long between halfback and the POC. And I made about 8 points on that. So it was a good day overall and a good week overall. More importantly, I think we saw the market very well. And the reason I wasn't shorting NQ anymore up here is because they had 3 sets of single prints. Now, I still told the room, I'm not convinced they're going to hold because value is very important to me. And we still had clearly lower value. But with 3 sets, it wasn't 1 set, it was 3. So that's why I decided to take the ES short rather than the NQ up here. They both would have paid, obviously. As far as destinations go, today's high of 522.60 is a poor high. So is ES. So poor high in SPY. Downside, well, actually, the POC is an upside destination, 521.78, 9 wide. And now, today's low is 520.97 in SPY. They didn't fill the gap from yesterday. They left 35 points. Gets filled at 520.62. So SPY held the gap from yesterday. In ES, the high is 06. It's poor. Our 10 wide POC is at 97.25. And today's low is at 89. Now let's go to these charts and break them down. We're going to start with our favorite, the Russell. So the Russell, believe it or not, has been one time framing up for 5 months, right? However, this month's the first month I considered it coming out of balance from over 2 years. So the monthly is still up, still healthy. They still have a lot of work to do to get anywhere to the all-time high, which is about $40 higher. But the monthly is healthy and up. The weekly is a 3-week balance, okay? We took out last week's high, we took out last week's low, but we closed inside. So now it's going to be important, how did we come out of this 3 or 4 week balance, whatever you want to call it. How do we come out of this 3-4 week balance? Is it back to the upside and get going? Or do they roll over and come out of balance to the downside? So the weekly is balance on the Russell. And the daily is also balance. Okay? It was up. And now we've come back into balance. Now the question is, do you want to call it a 2-day balance or a 3-day balance? It's up to you. Because Wednesday's range was so big, I would probably call it a 2-day balance. So if we take out today's low, I would call it down. But the bigger picture would be, you know what? You could probably call it a 4-day balance if that was to happen. Let's see what happens Monday. But for now, the monthly's up, the weekly's balance, and the daily's balance. For the NQ, the monthly very healthy, chugging along, one time framing up for 5 months. Now here's where things get a little dicey. The weekly is in a 4-week balance. It made a new all-time high this week, but it just stretched it. So sooner rather than later, bulls are going to want to take out this week's high to get the weekly up. Because if they don't, well then, if all they did was stretch it, the ultimate goal or ultimate destination would be the bottom of the balance, which is around the 433 level. That's only $13 away. It's not the end of the world, but that would be the destination. So it's going to be important for the bulls to come out of this daily balance, which is 2 days, back to the upside. Because if they come out to the downside, then you have better odds of going and testing the balance low on the weekly. Now, NQ barely held their gap, but triple Q's held their gap. Give me 1 second. 444.11 by 38 cents. Not a lot. So it's a 2-day balance. So the monthly is up, the weekly is balanced, and the daily is balanced on the Qs. And then on the ES and SPY, very healthy. Look at the distance we're getting from prior month's highs. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? People keep trying to pick tops, yet we keep going up, right? The weekly, same thing. This is 11 weeks in a row for SPY and 19 out of 20. Is that going to come to an end? Of course it is. It'd be healthy to come to an end, right? There would be nothing wrong with coming back and taking out 4 weeks worth of lows at some point. But to keep trying to pick these tops is a fool's game. So the monthly is up, the weekly is up, and the daily is a 2-day balance. That's it in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys and gals had a great week trading. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. What we offer for the price is, I don't think can be matched anywhere. Stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.